That's what happens if you hit film before you open the lens cap. New purchases. Maruda rum. It's a steel pan rum. Liv wanted it. Liv will have to explain why we needed it and what's different. And I got Cocalero. Now let's take a look at this bottle. So you can see it refers to itself as a Southern American herbal spirit. It's got words like espiritu, de libre, classico. Really amping up the sacred spirit of the Andes. Really also, though, product of Ireland and made in Dublin. Why I wanted it, though, is for anyone who has watched all the videos, which is literally no one, because so many of the videos have 0 views. This is full of this. We can see it out of the fridge. It's full of agua. The guarana liqueur that tastes like mouthwash and that I desperately want to make a worthwhile cocktail out of somehow. Like, it's one of my challenges. Strega is my white whale, and I'm dialing in a good cocktail of that, but I also want to make a really good agua cocktail someday. And this contains a lot of the ingredients that agua cocktail recipes contain. So this contains the same guarana. It's a guarana liqueur, but it also contains juniper, ginger, and honey. And that's straight up a recipe for an agua cocktail. Schmo, let's try some straight. It's better on the nose. This also contains green tea, which is what I just smelled. It's mouthwashy. It's just not as bad as agua. I actually wouldn't mind drinking this straight. It's a complicated flavor. Like, you get the green tea, and I think you kind of feel the ginger at the top back of your throat late in the experience. It's a very neat drink, and I imagine it'll actually be pretty useful in some cocktails. You could probably just whip up a good martini with that, and just have gin and this instead of vermouth, and have a nice pale green martini. That would be pretty neat. And then this other rum. But anyway, that's the Cocalero. And we've got 2 bottles of gin, because I'm going to make some infusions again. Signing off with my signature catchphrase, how did I get here? Do it again.
A ship once thought to be lost at sea slips into port, and you hear the calls. Are you with us? That's it. That's all this bottle says.
So tell me why we need a steel pan rum.
So I can drop it. Because if I remember correctly on the lovely How to Drink video about rums, steel pan was one of the ways that rum was distilled. So they had like the different stills, obviously copper, coffee, so forth. They all have a steel pan. As far as I know, none of our rums are steel pan. There's a plastic.
There's also a paper. You want to try some of that?
It was just gonna say this is a very nice seal.
Yeah, those Irish really know how to make some pretty sweet South American appropriation liqueurs. Quite the corks, sir. Well, it's very rum.
Yeah, that's rum.
I think I detect something a little different in it.
The sweetness is different. It doesn't quite have that caramel or molasses or sheep ass smell.
The sheep assitude is low.
Cheap ass.
Oh, I'm keeping sheep ass as a, I mean, more of a Scotch thing, but certainly rum can taste like sheep ass.
It's kind of funky. It's got a nice burn.
It evolves really strangely because it's like, I think in that
There's citrusiness.
in that experience, I liked it 2 out of 3 times there, and did not like it once. And now it's kind of balanced out, and now I don't like it again. It's as Greg says, it's got an evolution. That is for sure.
I dig it. I'm into it. I think it would work well in some of our tropical beverages.
It gets worse as it evolves. I have that first hit of pleasantness, and then it settles into its funk.
So you're not a fan of the funk?
Yeah, not as much as I am of the initial sweetness. I guess my palate is leaning towards less funkier, sweeter rums. That Sam Lord's that I like is just very, very sweet. I like black strap rums for their sweetness and their brown sugar taste.
I think we're running low on the black strap.
Yeah, if we see one anywhere, we should replenish it.
I can't remember where we got it. We have been to easily 20 liquor stores.
Easily 20? I'd say stretch 20. Also, speaking of rum, and in this video, relevant to the other video, this is where the rums from Rum's Revenge wound up. And that's where the chest wound up.
We need to get more tropical stuff. We are moving dangerously close into the nautical as opposed to tiki realm.
That is an accurate statement, actually, and we did say that we wanted to keep it tiki.
Tiki is a terrifying balancing act. That's what we have learned.
Truly is. As well as the fact that we're trying to go tiki noir. We want to go a little bit darker than regular tiki, especially to stay as far away as possible from just cabana.
Which is why we got our predator mask up.
That's why there's masks and skulls. Yeah, like we want it to be closer to the spookier side. I know voodoo isn't tiki, but voodoo is Caribbean, and that kind of, I feel like that overlaps with tiki. Like, tiki's evil twin is cartoon voodoo.
Oh, that reminds me, because I bought a tattoo gun on the internet. Don't do that. There's tiny voodoo dolls from Princess and the Frog
Yeah.
that are kinda tiki noir. That at some point I would like to tattoo on myself. So I'm gonna give anyone a horrible disease, it'll be me.
Yes. I'm worried about infection primarily more than anything. Like I don't mind having, and I've said this to other people in real life, and now I'm saying it on camera, so it's legally binding. I already have some shitty tattoos that I'm embarrassed of. Therefore, I will not be embarrassed to be like, oh yes, this is a circle that I let my girlfriend tattoo on me. Like, big deal. I think one thing that we should establish some actual kind of rule about tattooing. I was thinking this on the way in from my run this morning. Something like, if you have a tattoo idea, there's like a 5-day moratorium. From the day you're like, I'm putting this idea in the hat, I want this tattoo. It has to be 5 full days. And then if you still want it, then you can do it. Otherwise, we're going to just get drunk and be like, tattoo this on. Yeah.
Yeah, definite rules that everyone has to be sober, especially the person who is tattooing. And then we'll have a checklist of cleanliness.
Yep. So, again, I do actually wish, for the first time ever, I guess, I wish that someone was watching these and was tracking this history.
For when we show up with face tattoos?
Yeah, just as things grow and change. Because, I mean, the point of this was supposed to be recording an accidental history of the COVID quarantine era, where the little truths that we can't see now will become clear in history when you witness the whole thing. I think the best way to record history is to record your normal life and look back on it. Because if I try and write or even speak about this era, it's just too big. You have to break it down into the smallest possible components and then try and organize those components together to in any way discuss this era. But if everyone just made daily vlogs and then someone later was tasked with sorting through those for like keywords and things like that, like sociologists do, then we would wind up with the truth of the effect on the people. Because the truth is hidden in honesty.
And lost ships. Bringing it full circle.
That's your signature catchphrase.